Now, ComScore was one of the pioneers in digital measurement and remains a powerful force in the industry today. You've obviously had a great deal to do with its success. What was the biggest setback you had, though, on this road to success, and how did you deal with it?
Yeah. So I think the biggest setback had to be probably 9/11, and then the implosion of the internet. That I think, if I recall the timing, occurred somewhere around the same time. And we were in a position of building out everything at that point in time, so we weren't profitable yet. Our cash flow was still negative, and it basically caused our revenue growth to slow down while our cost structure kept growing. And so that was those were pretty tricky days at ComScore. But I think we had a lot of confidence on the part of our investors, our VCs, and they stepped up to the plate, and we did another round of financing and got the company to profitability and took it public, and it's been quite successful for us.
I remember those days well. Now, would you consider that your greatest accomplishment, or if you look back, was there some other seminal point in your career where very proud of a particular?
Yeah. So ComScore is certainly one of them. I think building a $1 billion plus value company called ComScore's certainly gave us a lot of satisfaction. But there was another success before that with a company called Information Resources, IRI, and I was the CEO there for 15 years or so. And basically, we were the first company to take scanning data, point-of-sale scanning data, and turn it into an information product. And so we provided to the consumer packaged goods industry weekly, daily sales related to price down to the SKU level, and then related it back to the price and the promotions and the advertising that was running. And that, I think, changed the nature of the CPG industry. Some people say it wasn't all positive. If you're a manufacturer of CPG products, it caused a reliance, having the data, caused a reliance on price and promotion to move the needle. And the industry probably ended up spending about $40 billion a year more in trade deal money because of the availability of the data. But nonetheless, it also helped, I think, everybody understand better what was the driver of consumer choice. And we were competing against some pretty entrenched competitors, Nielsen being one, Sammy was another one. And so to take this company, IRI, Information Resources, from startup to being, when we were done, we became the largest market research company in the US. So that was very satisfying. And then to do it again with ComScore, it was just icing on the cake, if you will.
So one success led to another. What was the common ingredient that you brought from a talent perspective that made those ventures successful?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I do think there are some similarities, although I'm always nervous about giving advice, because if you look at sayings that have evolved over time, there's always contradictory sayings, like out of sight, out of mind, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Well, those are kind of opposites. So you've got to be careful and I think put advice into context.
Well,
right?
Free advice is worth what you pay for.
There you go. There you go. That's a good point. But I think there are a couple of things that I think probably apply to most businesses that I kind of learned along the way. One is that you have to surround yourself with top-notch people. And I think that's a challenge for a lot of people. I think there's a reluctance on the part of some people to hire people who are smarter, brighter than they are. And so they hire somebody who is not as smart or bright, and then that person does the same thing. And before you know it, you have this exponentially negative dilution of talent. So one of the things that I've learned is that you just have to hire some of the best and brightest and surround yourself with them. The other is, I think, to try to do what's never been done before. I think that's what kind of fuels me. Things that some people might say are impossible, but I think if you have enough good people on the team, you got a real shot at figuring out how to do something that's never been done before. And if you can do that, then I think there's a lot of satisfaction in that.
I can tell by your enthusiasm you love this industry. Why would you recommend young people get into it?
I think there's a number of reasons. I think part of it depends on what it is that you, in an honest moment, can say are your competitive advantages. And I think one of the things I say to kids starting out is just take an inventory of what you're good at or what you think you can become good at, and then figure out that in a competitive strength perspective, right? Because I think that's really important. If you're going to be successful at something, chances are a lot higher if it's something where you have an advantage. So I think that's one of the first things. So then, if you've done that, and you look at the media, advertising, market research industry, let me put all of those together. I think depending upon what you're really good at, if you're creatively good, this is the place to be. I think there's a lot of opportunities, and maybe more opportunities going forward than we have today. I personally think that there's a renaissance in creativity that's needed and maybe will happen. On the other hand, if you are technically very good, there's just a wealth of opportunities, here in this industry as tech changes the nature of the media business. And if you have both, then you can carve out a different position for yourself. It's a dynamic industry. I think one of the things I like about it is that there's almost never a total solution to the challenge of how do you get consumers to make a choice that's the way that you want it to turn out. It's kind of a never-ending search for a solution, and I find that to be particularly exciting. Kind of drives me, and I think drives our team as well.